Good afternoon. My name is Rosalind Newell, and I'm your correspondent for the 2018 Atlanta Quilt Festival TV. And today, I have the privilege of interviewing Phyllis Stephens. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. She is a quilt artist extraordinaire, and we're going to learn a little bit more about how she works her craft. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm originally from Connecticut. I spent my summers in Athens, Georgia. So I was able to learn my craft from my grandmother and great-grandmother and great-aunts. And so it goes, it's a long lineage of quilters.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so what style of quilting would you say that you do?
I'm a story quilt making, and the process that I use is pretty much like applique, fabric on fabric, to create a picture.
Wonderful. And so how do you get inspired? What sparks your artistic juices?
Every day. Every day. Every single day. I'm inspired by my stories, someone else's stories, stories that I want to create in my own head. You know, so every day, everywhere I look around, there's inspiration.
Wonderful, wonderful. So why don't you tell, I know that you've been exhibited in various museums and other cultural places. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I have exhibited, I've been blessed to exhibit around the world. Rome, Italy,
Wonderful.
The Fine Art Museum in Ghana, and Paris. So it's been good, as well as many of the famed museums here. The most prestigious that we know of is the American Quilter Society in Paducah, Kentucky. And in 2000, I did a one-woman show there.
Wonderful.
I've showed there many times after, but never another one-woman show. I need to call them.
You do, and were you the first African-American quilter?
No, I wasn't. Faith Reingold had shown 10 years prior to me.
Prior to that, but that is still quite.
Yeah, so we're still the two.
You're the two.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. So today we had an opportunity to hear you talk about some of the quilts and see actually two of them, as well as some of the prints made from the quilt. So I'd like to show you my favorite that I purchased today. And could you tell us the name and tell us a little bit about your inspiration?
That's called Double Dutch, and I was spending my summer in Brooklyn with a cousin, and I took Double Dutch like people do and practiced it like it was an Olympic sport. You know, I knew how to turn. Right. I knew how to turn. You got to have your lean and, you know, the timing that it took to jump in. And so I wanted to tell that story because our children these days, those crafty sports that we created on our own, jump rope, marbles, hopscotch, those are things that it's almost like a lost art. And so I started a series called When I Was a Child.
Okay.
And it inspired me to do all of the fun things that I craved to do on a daily basis when I was a child.
Great, great. Oop, let me show you one other. And I did not catch your name for what you named this quilt. So can you tell us a little bit about this beautiful lady with a red dress on?
Right. That's called Black Girls Rock in Paris. And I was I just recently returned from Paris, but this quilt is several years ago. I think it was maybe about 7 years ago I was in Paris. And I actually turned and I saw this amazing, beautiful black woman tying her shoe. And I snapped it, and when I got back, I just thought the beauty of black women around the world. Around the world. So
wonderful.
That was the inspiration behind that piece.
Well, it certainly spoke to me too. It's just beautiful. And I just have to ask you about one more, because I saw this actually on the internet somewhere and looked you up because I saw the piece. And I can't even remember where I saw it now, but I think I saw the piece on the internet somewhere, and it just looks so romantic.
It is romantic. It's called Endless Love. And I was at a couple's home, and they lived on 10 acres, and I don't know what the square footage was in their house, but I got lost inside their house.
That's big.
And as I was talking to the wife later, you know, and just saying, you know, what a blessing to live like this. And she said, it really is, Phyllis. She said, for the first 2 years that we were married, we lived from whatever we could make, car. And she says, God has brought us a mighty long way.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and she says, the greatest thing is that through this process, we fell in love more and more every day. And my comment was, I said, God, that's what endless love is.
Well,
from the beginning to the end.
Oh, how nice. But you can really kind of feel it.
It's just warmth. It's not a young couple. It's somebody who's been around a couple of corners. Right, absolutely, around a couple of corners. And they survived. And that's sometimes difficult to do. You gotta be in it.
Hang in there.
Yes.
So, well, why don't you tell us where you're exhibiting or showing during the rest of 2018?
Wow, 2018. I am exhibiting right now. Voila.
Right now.
In Palm Beach Gardens in Florida at the Black Enterprise Golf Classic.
Okay.
I will be exhibiting September 8th or 9th, I'm not sure. I could be wrong on the dates. In Philadelphia at the Black Art in America exhibition. And then on October 20th and 21st, I'll be at Astor's Gallery in Maplewood, New Jersey. For their 20th anniversary. I did their 10th anniversary, and so now I'm coming back. Then after that, my year ends after that, and I've never been to Australia, I've never been to New Zealand. So I figured if I'm going to go that far,
plane trip.
right? If I'm going to go that far, you know, I'm there for 4.5 weeks.
Okay.
So if I want to see every part of it.
Wonderful.
So that's how I finish off my year, and I'll get more inspiration.
Well, wonderful. Well, you certainly inspired us today. I just have to say your delivery and just talking to us about your art, it was really enriching, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
And ask me back.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.